There is a house that stands beside a river. It is not a grand house, nor is it a modern one. Its walls are made of old stone, covered in a gentle cloak of ivy that has grown over many seasons. The roof is a soft slate gray, often damp with morning dew, glistening after a light rain. A simple wooden porch wraps around the front, its boards weathered by sun and storm. It is a house that seems to have grown from the earth itself, a quiet observer of the world that unfolds around it. It sits at the edge of a great ancient forest. The trees whisper secrets to one another on the breeze. The river flows nearby, a constant and soothing presence. Its water is clear, tumbling over smooth, gray stones that have been polished by its endless journey. On sunny days, the light dances on its surface, creating a million tiny diamonds that sparkle and fade. The sound of the water is a gentle murmur, a continuous song that fills the air with a sense of peace. The house does not impose on this landscape. Instead, it seems to belong here completely. From the windows of this house, one can see the world in its purest form. Fresh green of spring, fiery reds of autumn, golds of autumn. You can see the mist rise from the river in the cool dawn, swirling like a gentle spirit before the sun appears. The front door opens not to a busy street, but to a path that leads to the riverbank, or into the deep, welcoming embrace of the woods. This is a place where time seems to slow down, where the frantic pace of the outside world fades into a distant memory. The house simply waits, offering its quiet strength to anyone who needs it. This is more than just a structure. It is a sanctuary. It is a place where one can listen to the earth breathe and feel the steady, ancient rhythm of life. The house by the river does not demand attention. It offers something far more valuable, a place to simply be, a place to heal, a place to come home to oneself. Into this quiet world came Allara. She arrived not with a joyful heart, but with a spirit as heavy as the gray stones in the riverbed. The city had worn her down, its relentless noise and hurried pace chipping away at her until she felt hollow. Concrete buildings, crowded streets, digital screens that glowed with demands and deadlines. The colors of her life had faded to a monochrome gray, and a deep sense of being lost had settled within her. She felt like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly on a vast, indifferent ocean, with no land in sight. Her sadness was a quiet, persistent ache. It was not a loud, dramatic sorrow, but a silent weight that made every breath feel like an effort. She had forgotten the sound of her own laughter and the simple pleasure of a quiet moment. The world felt overwhelming, and she felt small and insignificant within it. Friends offered advice, suggesting new hobbies or busy distractions, but their words felt like trying to fill a leaking cup. The emptiness remained, a void that the city's frantic energy could not fill. The decision to come to the house by the river was one of quiet desperation. It was a final, hopeful grasp for something she couldn't name. When she first stood on the old wooden porch, she felt nothing but the profound depth of her own exhaustion. The beauty of the place was a picture she could see but not feel. The river's song was just noise, and the forest's embrace felt like a dark, unknown shadow. She had brought her city-worn soul to this tranquil place, and the contrast between its peace and her inner turmoil felt immense and insurmountable. She was a discordant note in a perfect, natural symphony. In those first few days, Allara did very little. She would sit for hours in a chair by the window, watching the river flow without truly seeing it. Her journey to find peace had begun, but she was still adrift. The change did not happen all at once. It began subtly, like the first hint of light before the dawn. One morning, Allara woke earlier than usual. The world outside her window was bathed in a soft, ethereal glow. Mist lay over the river. Mist clung to the water's surface. Mist wove through the trees on the opposite bank. A world of silver, a world of gray, hushed and still. The silence felt full of anticipation. Driven by a gentle curiosity, Allara pulled on a warm sweater. She stepped out onto the porch. The air was cool and crisp. The scent of damp soil, the scent of wet leaves, a smell pure and ancient. The fragrance cleansed the air. It felt like it cleansed her mind with each breath. She stood motionless, breathing in and out. The mist swirled and danced. It parted to reveal the dark, glassy river, a quiet, magical performance just for her. Then a sound broke the stillness, the clear, piercing song of a single bird, notes pure and effortless, a cascade of liquid melody welcoming the day. Another bird answered, then another, the air filled with a chorus of joyful calls. A tiny crack appeared in the wall around her heart, a sound so simple, so natural, so profoundly beautiful. The sun rose above the tree line. Golden rays sliced through the mist. The silver landscape turned to gold. And rose, the mist dissolved, lifting like a veil, revealing vibrant green forest, revealing the sparkling blue river. The transformation was breathtaking. Allara felt a flicker she thought lost forever, a small, fragile spark of wonder. She was still sad, still lost. But for the first time in a long time, a glimmer of hope. Perhaps she would not be lost forever. Allara began to spend her days by the river. She would find a smooth, sun-warmed rock on the bank and simply sit, watching the water flow. At first, her mind was a torrent of anxious thoughts, a chaotic inner monologue that mirrored the restless energy of the city she had left behind. But the river offered a different kind of rhythm. It flowed with a calm and steady purpose, never rushing, never hesitating. It moved around obstacles, a fallen log, a cluster of large rocks with a gentle persistence, always finding its way forward. The river did not fight its path, it simply followed it. She started to notice the details. She saw how the light changed on the water's surface throughout the day, soft silver of morning, brilliant gold of late afternoon. She watched small silver fish darting in the shallows. She saw water striders dance across the surface, their delicate legs making tiny dimples. The river was not just a body of water. It was a complex, living system, a world teeming with life and purpose. Its constant, gentle movement seemed to wash over her, slowly eroding the sharp edges of her own inner turmoil. The sound of the river became her companion. It was a constant, soothing murmur that filled the silence. It was a sound that she could listen to for hours, and it began to quiet the noise in her head. When her thoughts raced, she would close her eyes and focus only on the sound of the water tumbling over the stones. The steady, rhythmic whisper was a form of meditation, a natural mantra that grounded her in the present moment. It taught her that some things are constant, that life flows on, and that peace can be found not in stopping the current, but in learning to flow with it. Slowly, Allara began to understand the river's lesson. Her problems, which had seemed like insurmountable boulders, now felt more like the small stones in the riverbed. The river of life would continue to flow, and it would either wear them smooth or find a way around them. When she felt a little stronger, Allara turned her attention to the forest. The path had once seemed dark and intimidating, but now it felt like an invitation. She took her first steps under the vast canopy of leaves with a sense of gentle trepidation. But what she found was not darkness, but a world of dappled light and profound peace. The air inside the forest was different, cooler, richer. Pine needles, damp earth, decaying leaves, the smell of life and renewal happening all at once. The forest floor was a tapestry of incredible detail. She began to notice things she had never seen before. Moss, like a soft velvet carpet over fallen logs and ancient stones. Tiny, delicate ferns unfurling their fronds. Clusters of brightly colored mushrooms. Brilliant red, soft, earthy brown. Each step revealed a new miniature world. It taught her to look closer, to pay attention to the small wonders. The trees themselves were magnificent. Ancient giants. Trunks thick and gnarled, bark like a rugged map. Standing beneath them, Allara felt awe and humility. They had stood through countless seasons, storms and sun. Leaning against the rough bark of an old oak, she felt its strength, as if the tree shared ancient, patient wisdom, reminding her to stay grounded. The forest taught her about cycles, constant, quiet transformation, death becoming rebirth. Nothing wasted, everything with a purpose. In this, Allara found profound comfort. As Allara spent more time in nature, she became aware that she was not alone. The house, the river, the forest were home to a vast community of creatures, each living its life according to the simple, honest rhythms of the natural world. In the early mornings, she would watch a family of deer emerge from the edge of the forest to drink from the river. They moved with a silent grace, their large, dark eyes watchful and calm. Their presence was a gift, a moment of pure, wild beauty that made her heart feel a little lighter each time she witnessed it. She began to recognize the individual personalities of the animals that visited her garden. There was a cheeky red squirrel with a fluffy tail that would scold her from the branches of the old oak tree, its chattering calls a humorous interruption to the quiet. A pair of blue jays, bold and bright, would flash like jewels as they flew between the trees. At night, she would listen for the deep, gentle hoot of an owl, its call echoing through the darkness. These creatures were not her pets. They were her neighbors, and their presence made the solitude of the house feel less like loneliness and more like peaceful companionship. One afternoon, as she sat by the river, a kingfisher perched on a branch just a few feet away. It was a stunning bird, a flash of brilliant sapphire and fiery orange. It sat perfectly still, watching the water with an intense focus. Then, in a blur of motion, it dove, hit the water with a tiny splash, and emerged a moment later with a small, wriggling fish in its beak. It flew off as quickly as it had appeared. The encounter lasted only a few seconds, but it left Allara breathless. It was a perfect moment of wildness, a reminder of the skill, focus, and vibrant energy that existed all around her. These encounters, big and small, became anchors for her. They pulled her out of her own head and into the present moment. Watching the determined industry of an ant colony or the carefree flight of a butterfly, she saw that every living thing had its own purpose, its own way of being in the world. They were not striving for more than what they were simply living. This simple, profound truth began to resonate deep within her. She was a part of this intricate web of life, and just by being, just by breathing, she too had a place in the world. The days turned into weeks. Allara could feel a definite shift within herself. It was like the turning of a great, slow tide. The heavy weight of sadness that had clung to her for so long was beginning to lift, replaced by a feeling of lightness and clarity. The change was not dramatic, but it was real. She started to wake up not with a sense of dread, but with a quiet curiosity about what the day might bring. She found herself smiling at the squirrel's antics. She hummed a tune to herself as she walked along the riverbank. The colors of the world seemed brighter, the sounds sharper. Her perspective began to change. The problems that had once seemed all-consuming now felt smaller, more manageable. The constant loop of worry in her mind had been replaced by the sights and sounds of the natural world. Instead of dwelling on past regrets or future anxieties, she noticed the way the wind rustled the leaves, the pattern of clouds in the sky, the scent of rain on the air. Nature was teaching her to live in the present moment. The peace she had been so desperately seeking was not something to be found, but something to be felt, right here, right now. One evening, as she watched the sunset paint the sky orange, pink, purple, she felt a profound sense of gratitude wash over her. It was a feeling so powerful it brought tears to her eyes, but these were not tears of sadness. They were tears of joy and relief. She was grateful for the house, for the river, for the forest, and for the quiet, steady healing they had offered her. Allara realized that the house by the river was more than just a physical shelter. It had become a metaphor for the home she was rebuilding inside herself. The old stone walls represented the new foundation of strength and resilience she had discovered. The ivy that clung to them was like the gentle, persistent growth of hope, covering the old wounds of her past. The clear windows, once panes she looked through with detached sadness, are now her own eyes, open to beauty and wonder again. Her heart had seasons. She emerged from a long, cold winter into the warmth and light of a new spring. She began to bring the beauty of the outside world into the house. She would gather wildflowers from the garden and place them in a simple vase on the kitchen table. As autumn began to touch the forest with its fiery paintbrush, Allara knew that her time at the house was not an escape from life, but a preparation for it. She had not run away from her problems. She had found the strength and clarity to face them. The peace she had discovered was not something that could only exist in this one magical place. It was something she now carried within her. Nature had not given her a new life. It had awakened the life that was already there, buried under layers of stress and sorrow. She looked out at the river, its surface reflecting the brilliant colors of the changing leaves. She saw her own reflection looking back at her, not the lost, hollow person who had arrived weeks ago, but a woman with light in her eyes and a quiet confidence in her posture. She knew she would eventually return to the world beyond the forest, but she would not be the same. She would carry the river's calm, the forest's strength, and the sky's boundless perspective with her. This house by the river will change your life forever, not because the house itself is magic, but because it is a doorway to the magic that resides in the world around us and ultimately within us. Find your river, find your forest, and you will find your way back home to yourself. The promise of renewal is always there, waiting on the horizon.